Welcome to another episode of Daily Musings from Sacred Ground. I've been going through a downtime lately, and last night I woke up at 2 a.m. and I was there in bed, and a thought came into my mind, actually a question. And the question, I don't ever recall having this question appear in my mind before. The question came in, when was God speaking to you at a particular age or in a particular place? And so I asked myself this question. And lying there, I said, Michael, when was God speaking to you when you were 5 years old? And immediately what popped up for me was a memory of my dad and I believe it was the first day of kindergarten. And again, if memory serves me right, my dad walked me down to the school. It's about half a mile from our house. And the parents were invited to stay for some time, and they had to sit in these little kindergarten chairs. And I remember my dad sitting in this chair and giving me this look. Now, my father, he was grew up during the Depression, World War II vet, worked at Youngstown Sheet and Tube, and he had this very expressive face, especially when he wanted to be humorous. And he wasn't a big showboat or anything, but occasionally he would just show this. And as I think about it, he loved, Red Skelton and Jackie Gleason and Johnny Carson and Laurel and Hardy from his childhood, and all of those guys who had those faces that could just say so much without uttering a word. And so he's sitting in this chair and he gives me this look, and I'm just doubled over laughing. And thinking about that this morning, it's like, wow, what a great introduction to school. I'd be in that same building from kindergarten through 6th grade, but that first day to start it with, bent over laughing. And that's what came to me. That laughter, that look of my dad, there was God speaking to me when I was 5 years old. And so then I tried it again. And, I have no idea what's going to come into my head with this question. I say, when was God speaking to you when you were in 10th grade? And immediately came into my mind this memory of my Uncle Dudley, staying in his driveway, looking over to me and saying, "Thanks, Mike." I had cut the grass that day. And my Uncle Dudley, he was married to my dad's sister, and he was my godfather. And for a while, they lived next door to us. And Uncle Dudley and Aunt Mary didn't have children of their own, so they kind of took on all the nephews and nieces and would take us to amusement parks. And oftentimes, my Uncle Dudley and I would just go together, just the two of us, to see a movie, to see some Western or something like that. And by the time I'm in high school, I'm cutting the grass in both backyards, our family's backyard and Aunt Mary and Uncle Dudley's. And he had asked me to cut the grass that day, and I had, and he was thanking me. And that night, my Uncle Dudley would have a massive heart attack and die. And so the last words that he spoke to me were, "Thanks, Mike." Or "Thank you, Mike." So where was God speaking to me when I was in 10th grade? And then, lying there in bed, a little after 2 a.m., I tried it one more time, and I said, rather than a specific age, I thought of a place. I said, where was God ever speaking to me in a supermarket? And again, almost immediately, what popped into my mind was just before I traveled to Europe, when I was 24 years old, I was in a grocery store by myself, and I was looking at the different fruit. And I was just standing there looking back and forth at, I don't remember what the fruits were, but so completely indecisive, trying to decide this or that, this or that. And this woman who, by all appearances, was a homeless woman, by her manner of dress and her manner of behaving, she just started yelling, screaming at me. A number of curses, if I remember correctly, and I'll give it to you the non-curse version. But she just screams and she says, "If you can't pick out a piece of fruit, how do you think you're ever going to make it in this life? If you can't pick out a piece of beeping fruit." And of course I was shocked in the moment, right? But there was also such deep truth in this woman's words, and that's what came to me in terms of when was God speaking to you in a supermarket? So age 5, 10th grade, and in a supermarket. Maybe it's a new spiritual practice for me. And of course, it's an invitation for you. Why not just try it? Pick an age, pick a place. When was God speaking to me in thus and such, or at thus and such a time? Peace and amen. I'm Michael Malley, and you've been listening to Daily Musings from Sacred Ground.